First of all, I'd like to say a very big thank you to everybody who's wishing me well with my health. I'm still not feeling really up to anything, but got deadlines looming, the stuff that has to get done. Not only is the bike due at Thunder Sprint on the 10th and 11th of next month, but it's also meant to be going to the Stafford Bike Show next weekend, which means that some of the work that needs doing on it needs to be done so it can be put back together enough to go up to Stafford. Though we're going to be interesting getting all the trailers organised, because the twin bike trailer is actually in the wrong place at the moment, but hopefully it will all get it together and it can go up there. But just going to get on with a couple of little bits. I'll do a quick walk around on the bike and I'll show you some of them. One of the little jobs that I have actually managed is to change the ratio on the shift linkage. So we were up here and I've managed to get everything realigned so it lines up. I was actually able to, much to my amazement to be honest, I was able to bend this in the vise and it didn't crack or even show any signs of cracking, so it's a good ductile bit of alloy. And you know, I've even got possibility to play with the ratios, but I'm pretty sure that that's going to be working nicely. The megaphone, having looked at it and taken a bit of advice, I might be able to get it quiet enough that it would be okay on the street, that it wouldn't be louder than some of the other antisocial machines around, and probably with a nicer noise, because a lot of the time it's about the quality rather than the sheer volume. So you know, it's not a screaming 4 at 3 in the morning as we tend to get round here, or a Harley with straight cut pipes blubbering along, wobbling along quite frequently down our street at low speed. But it ain't going to cut it and guarantee us getting down below the noise limit. So tucked away over here is a length of 4-inch 1.6mm aluminium tubing. There's enough for a couple of silencers there. I'm waiting for the stainless perforated tube and a little bit of straight tube to turn up. The clutch cable, I mean the clutch on this was quite heavy and it really shouldn't have been, and particularly now I've got it all apart, I can actually quite easily grab hold of the lever and operate the clutch. I can even just about do it with just my thumb. So the routing on the cable was terrible, and the length was much longer than it needed to be. So I'm going to make up a new cable, and part of what I want to do is up on the lever. Now, these are the Tomaselli levers. These are the same dogleg levers are actually on the Morini road bikes, the modern stuff, because originally this probably came with blade types that wouldn't have had the regulation track legal ball on the end. They've got a really rather nice click adjusters. They've got a little spring loaded ball in there, and there's your adjuster. But there's really rather a lot of slop between the cable and the adjuster. So I'm going to make a custom ferrule for the cable to make that nice snug fit in the end there. And then we'll, I don't have the facilities to crimp ferrules, but I'll probably heat shrink the cable into it, make a nice job of it. So I found myself a bit of brass. I have a little scrap box full of brass offcuts. This is my main stash of brass odds and ends. Whenever I scrap anything that's got some of this stuff in, I'll try and grab it. That's a blast from the past. That was a jury-rigged valve recutting tool. I had a little bit of high-speed steel through there and a cut-off valve stem pressed in the end, and that was kind of a field repair on an automatic Mini of all things. And one source of brass, which is just the right kind of size for making cable ends, that's common everywhere in the UK, is these things. And that's the pin from a domestic 13 amp UK plug. And I know some of my American friends when I was over in the States in the 90s, and I was always complaining about the flimsy nature of American electrical connectors. So a few of them got sent UK plugs. I mean, one of them I sent it over and he said, "What the hell's this rated at? 50 amps?" But I got bucket loads of them at work, and if it's not a moulded on one, and the later ones, they're shrouded, so that if you wrap your fingers around the back of the plug, you can't get to the pins. So anything that comes through my workshop with these plain pins gets a new plug, and I salvage the brass and it goes into the little brass box. But I got a bit of brass, and we'll turn that up into a nice little ferrule. This is the little bit of plated brass scrap that came out of the collection. It's got a pretty horrible looking end. I think it's been used as a drift for something. Anyway, we'll rip that end off. I'll use the multi-size chuck, seeing as that's what's on here at the moment. And this bit of brass is a nice fit in that threaded brass adjuster on the lever. Anyway, let's just break this edge. And let's see what size hole I want down the middle. And the clutch cable inner is 2.5mm. So something like 2.7mm will give us a reasonable clearance hole. Let's go 2.8. And the Zeus book is telling me 2.8mm is a number 35 drill. Let's spot drill the end. I can feel when the flutes pack. Okay, that should do the job. Now, what I want now is a nice flat-bottomed hole, and in order to do that, I measured the diameter of the cable outer and had a look around and got myself a 15/64 slot drill, or 2-flute end mill in American, which will do a nice job of making a flat bottom hole. So I'm just going to get it touching the end so that I can use the graduations on the barrel. I'll come down in speed and see what we can do. I think we'll go in 12mm. Now we just need to part it off. So I'm going to come along to 16mm. Or thereabouts. And that looks about nice. I just need to clean the pip off the end, and that's one custom cable ferrule. So here's a section of the outer. Now when I've got a proper set of cutting pliers, and then I take it to the bench grinder and grind the end clean. And there we have a nicely fitting end, and I can put a bit of heat shrink on there and that'll be job done. I've got another ferrule to do for the other end of the clutch cable, and this bit of brass is getting pretty short, so I've swapped to the 3-jaw. We'll start off by facing this end, having selected a gear. think this qualifies as making best use of materials. Not a lot left of that stock, and that might just have a future life as a nipple on the end of a cable, so that's going to go into the cable making drawer. Spot drill. Come in with our slot drill. I'm going to make this ferrule a total of 10mm long. I'm going to make the hole 8mm deep. This ferrule needs to be turned down to fit the adjuster. The hole in the end's not the same as up at the lever, so it needs to come down a little bit. .89, and it needs to go down to 7.72. And I'm really just gonna do it by fit and feel. That's perfect. before I complete parting that off, I'm going to break the edge on the back. And there we have the other ferrule.